Hey gang, welcome back to Pardee Shop Shenanigans. I'm Bob, and this is where the shenanigans occur. Hey, so far on the videos that I've done, I've spent most of my time sharing projects I'm working on, whether it's my 62 C20 Chevy pickup, Stanley, or to the newest edition problem child, a 1989 Jeep Comanche. I thought today, let's do something a little different. Now, as I've mentioned in some previous videos, this is all about having fun, trying something new, and maybe learning something on the way. So frankly, a lot of what I do, I'm learning along the way. One of the things I've been interested in for quite some time is paintless dent repair. I buy these old beaters and I fiddle around with them and get bored and sell them. Look at something, think, gosh, how to repaint this, how to do this, how to do that. I've done just enough body work to know that it can be fun, but either you do it right or you don't. So I usually just don't. But there's this process called Paintless Dent Repair, PDR. You search that, maybe that's how you found this video. And there's a pile of guys out there that are really good. There's a pile of online learning out there to teach you all kinds of different methods. And then there's guys like me that just want to see what we can do with it. So with that, I've purchased my first kit. To me, there's two kinds of paintless dent repair styles, if you will, as best I understand. That's either pushing dents out or pulling dents out. So I bought some real inexpensive starter level kits here. I want to share with you what I found and see, maybe in a future video, share with you some results and see where we go with that. Hey, remember to click like, click subscribe, and leave a comment or two, would you? I like your feedback. And most important, turn on the notifications so every time I drop a new video, you and I can spend some time together. Let's take a look at this. So here's what I've done. I kind of laid out in no particular order the tools that I bought. Now I got these on Amazon. There's a lot of different options out there. You can pick and choose what works your budget and what you want to step into. I happen to get the, what is it? The Super PDR it's called. It's stamped all over everything. Now I mentioned a minute ago that there are two kinds of paintless dent repairs. You can pull, glue pulling, okay, so glue gun, and you glue this little tab onto a piece of metal, and then you use something to pull it. The other option is to push, where you have a rod and you can slide it back behind a panel, and you put different tips on it, and then you push to push the dents out. I thought what was interesting about this, again, both entry-level kits, if you will, is look at all the pieces that come with the pulling method, okay? A glue gun. They sent me some handy dandy glue sticks. Don't know much about them, why they're different colors. I'll do some research on that. And then all these different tabs that you use the glue. You put the glue on the tab, and then you glue this to the panel, and then you use different methods to pull. Okay, now I'm not really sure, I can't tell you conclusively why there's three different colors of glue tabs here, but I can tell you these are mostly round. These are round in some different shapes and whatnot in here. Okay, makes some sense. Here we've got some more of the square in different shapes, more round. The only thing I can figure is when I look at the instruction book that comes with it, as best I can tell, I get different colors so that I can accessorize. I guess I need my heels and glasses and my leather pants, and depending upon how I accessorize, maybe that's how I choose which tabs to pull with. I love marketing. So anyway, you get these tabs that you glue to a panel where there's a dent. I do know as much as you try to pick a tab that is about the size of your dent that'll fit in it. You don't want a little tiny tab and a great big dent. You don't want a great big tab on a little bitty dent. So that makes sense to me. We also want to try to match up the shape a little bit, whether it's a dimple or a crease, and so that's why we've got some different shapes and sizes here. Now there's different ways to pull. You can glue this tab to a panel, and then you hook this on here, and I imagine for great big ones, then you just physically pull it with this handle, okay? And you pull it until you kind of get yourself out where you need to be, or the glue pops off. I haven't done this yet, so I can't tell you when and where that all occurs. Or you can use this tensioning setup where you are going to put this, how's this going to work? I guess you would glue this to your panel, okay? This screws down. And then you're going to start pulling like this, and it'll work against itself. Now, I was a little disappointed. This piece right here, threads are goobered up, so I cannot get them started. I'm going to have to do some work on this to get it to work, but fortunately I've got the tools for that. Not everybody who buys one of these kits maybe has the ability to fix that themselves. You also have this puller. Oh, I'm going to guess it's probably about a 2-pound puller, which again, when you've glued one of these tabs on, you're going to put this in here, hold it tight, and pull the tab out this way, okay? Pull the dent with this hammer, slide hammer. Or you've got this guy, which seems to me like it's a lot more control, where again, you glue your tab onto the panel, and then you slide this into play, and then you pull like this. There's some adjustments and some things here so that you can slowly pull the dent out like this, and you can kind of control it, how hard to pull. You can kind of wiggle it a little bit. You can hold some tension on it, because then you can also use the hammer. Now they sent this hammer, both ends unscrew. There were no other components that went with it, but these are for if you get a high spot, so you can tap them down. Or this has a convex shape to it, I noticed. You can work on some high spots that way. They also sent this hammer. These unscrew and are replaceable. There were no other parts, so I'm not sure why they would need to come undone, but a little hammer for hammering as well to take down high spots. Now this piece right here is also for high spots. So depending on the shape that you're working with, they've got different shaped tips on here. And these screw in here. I've seen a lot of fellas on a lot of the professionals out there, they don't use a hammer and they don't beat on it like this, because little high spots, you're just trying to work high spots down. I see a lot of guys with like a slap paddle, and they're just doing that. So I'll play with that and see what makes sense for me. But comes with this little spray bottle. And then this light, I'm not going to bother plugging it in at the moment, but if you've already been looking at some of the Paintless Dent Repair videos and how it works, this light is really handy to get alongside the panel so that you can look at these lines and see what shapes they're doing, and it helps give you an indicator how to do some fine work and some finish work on that panel. So this would be the dent pulling function. Oh, there's this little wedge here, which I believe is to put down between a window and a door panel so you can open it up far enough to do some work, but I don't know enough to be smart about that yet. Now over here, what you see is the push method. You get this rod, it's got a threaded end, and then you can put different shapes, soft tip, metal tips, little round snowman noses here. And then what you do with this is you've got this handle, and you can push, and you're gonna push the dents out. Okay. It is interesting to see how many fewer moving parts there are with the pushing system as there are compared to a pulling system. Now the pushing system still needs to have the ability to work high spots, and that's where Over here, I got this little guy with all these different size tips on it. With this entry-level, inexpensive little set that I bought, it came with these nylon sticks, and they've got some different shapes to them. You got a rounded one that's kind of blunt, one that's pointy, one that's extra pointy, and one that's just flat. So lots of learning to do here. I think I've got just shy of $200. I think it was $190 wrapped up in what I purchased here. I thought would be a great starting point just to see how Paintless Dent Repair works for me. I have no notions of doing perfect work, but I'll show you a few things that I will be working on in a future video. Here's what we're going to do. Because I'm a guy who follows all the directions and plays by the rules, I marked with a marker where the dent is, just in case you couldn't actually find it. It's important to have things clean. Anytime you're going to glue, right, it makes sense to be clean. Now the rest of the pickup is dirty. I'm just playing with this spot, so I wiped it down good with some simple green. And because I'm going to be gluing this, right now here in the shop, it's about 50 degrees, so all this metal's pretty cold. So I did a little bit of preheating here, but you can use a hairdryer or your heat gun. I'm just going to warm up the metal a little bit. I don't want to put hot glue on cold metal, or it's certainly not going to stick very well. Now, looking at some of the other videos, I also see a lot of guys, even if they're doing the pushing, they will warm the paint, I assume, so that it will move a little bit better. A lot of different kind of paints and finishes and things that I don't know enough about to speak to, but certainly things that you want to learn something about before you get too crazy in this. Okay, so I went through my choices on tabs, and I decided that since I'm wearing a black shirt, and it shows here we're supposed to accessorize according to the instructions, right? That's why they gave us different color tabs, I'm sure. That's kind of what marketing says. So what I did is I found a round tab that is slightly smaller than what my dent is. It's going to fit just inside there, because if I used a real large tab that was out here where my metal is, there is no dent, well, I'd be pulling against that. So I've got my smaller tab that's going to fit right inside there. Now what I need to do is put just enough glue on here that when I put it on, it should just barely squish out all around. Again, I'm a seasoned expert. I've watched YouTube. I know exactly how to do all this. We're going to kind of learn together, aren't we? So let's see if this is about the right amount of glue. And we're going to hold it on there. I don't yet know how long to give this to dry. Looks like I could be a little bit shy on glue, but we're going to let that dry on there a little bit. Seems like that's pretty decent. Now what I thought I'd do is, this would probably be a great candidate for this puller. To pick the extension that has a small tab on it, I would put this on and glue this. Well, what I would do with this tool is I would glue this in place like that, right? And then what I would do is I would set this assembly over the top of it, and you could see how, if this would work properly. Again, I mentioned this is kind of goobered up, but what I could do with it then is, when I put this on here, come on fingers, sometimes they don't cooperate with me when it's cold outside. Okay, but that way, if this is glued on here, then I could pull like this to pull and put a little tension on it, and instead of being crazy, I could have a little tension, and then I could use this and I could take some of the tension away on the outside to help that metal move. However, since I don't have this thing tuned up and working correctly yet, what we're going to do is we're going to use this guy, okay? This guy, I will just manually be pulling it. So this hooks right over here. I'm gonna, let's see, back this off. I'm gonna hook you here. Sometimes maybe these guys need extra hands. I don't know. Makes sense to me to pull these feet up close. Just makes sense. Put a little bit of tension on that. Okay, so now that'll hold itself. I'm going to put a little pressure on it this way and see what we get. See that moving? You might be able to see some light moving. I have no idea how much pressure or what to expect from this glue. And there we go. Just like that, the glue pops off. Now, that's what this is partly designed to do. You don't want the glue to be permanent, right? And then this 99% alcohol is supposed to make the glue come right off. And looky there, it actually does come right off. Now, I don't know if you can see, but I can actually see a slight improvement on here. But obviously I need to go right in here now. So let's make sure you're clean. You're clean. Alcohol comes off there rather quickly. I'm going to go with a smaller tab because I'm going to go right in the middle of this. So smaller tab. Get some glue on it. Maybe my glue will be happier this time. Put it right in the middle there. Now I can see if you put too much glue on it, you're just going to have a big old slippity sloppity mess all over. Now one thing I did not do is I did not take some time to really clean and wipe these down first, so I'm sure that would have an impact on how well things adhere. While that's drying, if you can see right up here, fairly certain you can see up there, this crease has a clear line in it. It's not a circle dent. This is a clear line where something's hit it. That would be where a tab like this would come in, because that tab would go and it would follow where the lowest point is of that dent. It would follow a crease, and there's different sizes. But in this case, it was more round. That's why these little round tabs seem to make the most sense to me. All right, let's see what we have going on here. I'm going to snug that up just a whisker. Okay, now I'm going to pull again. Can you see the metal moving? Oops. Pops right off. Chase down the tab. Obviously, I need to get a little better system going here, but I believe this makes the point of what to expect when you're doing this. It's interesting how that alcohol causes that to lift right off of there when everything's stuck to the metal so much better than to the plastic. But it doesn't seem like it, but I can see there is already a difference taking place there. I could really see personally where the push method might fit my patient's level differently. Constantly popping a tab off there, and maybe I'm not doing everything right yet, would get a little bit tiresome. Whereas if I could get behind this with the right tool and start pushing and prying and work my way around and push this dent out. Of course, the challenge for that right now is my interior is intact. So the benefit of glue pulling is that you don't have to disassemble the interior. The benefit to me I could see of pushing is having more control, and of course the drawback is having to take apart the interior. All right, well, thanks for joining me here on another little fun spot in the shop, Pardee Shop Shenanigans. I'm going to keep playing with this on my own a little bit off camera, see what I can come up with. I'll share results with you in a future episode. Remember, click like, click subscribe, and click the notifications button so that every time I put something out, you know, and we can spend some more time together. Have a great day. Remember, go make someone smile. You both deserve it. Bob out.